guys, welcome back. I'm Doug.
And I'm Pat.
Welcome back to the Doug and Pat Show. And the star of the show today is the amplifier that we use on pretty much all the demos that we've ever done on guitars and pickups. And that would be the Vox AC10 Super Reverb Twin Head. If you've been watching the shows, we probably don't really need to give an introduction to this amplifier because we've been hearing it through all the guitars that we've been playing. And this is just an amazing sounding amp. It just sounds great. That's the reason why we use it. We've had a lot of amps at our disposal, and we try to find one that gives us the best representation of a pure bluesy sound that when people are buying a guitar with PAFs or P90s or whatever they're looking for, that's the sound that they would probably be looking for.
Yeah.
Good looking amp, dude, isn't it, Pat?
A little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's odd. It has the trapezoid
so
thing
let
on
me
there.
ask you a question or two here, Mr.
Well, hang on.
I've known you for what, about 5-10 years?
40 some.
Okay, we won't go there.
No,
Okay.
okay.
And you've had this amp just about all that time. You know, when I first met you, you're using Marshalls. Because I was using Marshalls.
That's right, we had a band together, Heavy Metal Thunder Band, and we were using Marshalls.
And then you got into these amps. Why? A 10-watt amp. You were using a 50-watt Marshall.
Well, let's back up a little bit. So this one, I got this amplifier in 1985. Before that, we were using Marshalls,
Right.
and before that, I was using Fender stuff, and I had a Trainer amplifier, so I was using all the classic stuff.
Do you still have the Trainer?
I do.
Can you lift it
I
anymore?
cannot. Bassmaster Mark II 1A. So I started using a Vox AC50 head because I really was a Brian May fan.
It's that, you know who that is? I bet it's Jason.
Jason,
Huh?
how many times have I told him? We're filming, you're going to be our guest, but you're going to be our guest when we want you to be the guest.
Yeah, just
So I'm just going to let it go right now. So we're just going to ignore it. He took the hint.
mm-hmm.
So out of those old amplifiers, then I sort of was into Brian May, and I wanted to get into that Brian May sound if I could. He was playing AC30s. Guy came into this music store I was working at with an AC50. I'd never even seen one before. And I bought it from him and started using it, and it sounded a little better into my ear than the Marshall. It had more brightness, had more character to it. It was fatter. I was using that amplifier and AC30s right around the time that this amplifier showed up. A guy came to me and said, "You want to buy another Vox amp?" Because no one was buying them really. And I said, yeah. And I took this amplifier, I'd never seen one before. Go figure. And it had a 210 cabinet with it that I still have. I was using 10s at the time also, Celestion 10s. And I took this amp, I plugged it in at the rehearsal place I was at, and went, gang, and I go, yep. And I've been using it ever since. Mainly live and in the recording studio, both.
Well, it's sure a great sounding amp.
It's a killer dealer. It's low powered, but we mic it up and we run it back through the monitor system, and it just sounds great. We also use 12-inch Alnico G12 Celestions.
12s as opposed to 10s.
Yeah, yeah. And I was playing through the 10s, and in this music store I was working in, they had a speaker cabinet that had been a Super Beetle, and it was cut in half. Now, I didn't know anything about Alnico speakers or ceramic speakers or anything. And I plugged this amplifier into that because my 210 cabinet was elsewhere. And it was like night and day. And I went, oh, man. And so that's what mainly I use, is that. I also have some old greenbacks that sound really great. And I think later on what we're going to do is we'll actually do a little comparison with the AC10 head and different speakers too, to hear what it sounds like, because we're really into those new ones and old ones. So here's the way it works. It has one channel. These inputs sound the same to me. This one might be attenuated, but I don't know, they sound the same. A volume control has a little swoopy thing here. I usually run this this is off. I usually run this amplifier about right there. It's quite gained up. Loudest I've ever played it has been right there. It goes into total compression. This is the tone control. It says tone on it. And it is kind of a two-purpose thing like most Vox amps. This is brighter with less bass, and this is darker with more bass. So it's not just like a roll-off. It does something, and it's, don't you think, you know, AC30s are like that?
Yep.
AC50s are like that. JMI, the English guys. It has a tremolo circuit, which is pretty cool. It goes fast compared to the Fenders that can go slow, at Gibsons that can go slow. I put the speed on slow, and I use this tremolo all the time. Put the intensity here. Here, this model, the Super Reverb Twin, it has a reverb circuit. If you don't know much about these amps,
Good sounding reverb.
this is not good. So I guess that Tom Jennings didn't want to pay Hammond Organ $1 per unit for the licensing of the Hammond reverb unit that was being used in Fenders. So he built one of his own, which is a single spring. Here's a picture of it. And they connected the edges on them with phono cartridges. So you ever like take a needle and rub your finger on it? It's like really loud. It's high impedance.
Right.
So they feed back, they're noisy. It works, but it's not good. I don't use the reverb on this at all. It has a 2-tap transformer in it for 8 ohms and 16 ohms. I swapped the back out. The original back I still have. I put in a detachable AC cord, the vibrato, foot switch. I put in a fan because these amps get hot. It has an on and off switch for the fan. 8 ohm and 16 ohm tap on a switch. This is inactive. Here's an interesting thing also, Pat. This amplifier is supposed to use EL84 output tubes, and I have 7189s, which are a kind of a heavier duty version of that same tube. Just sounds great. I think everyone probably agrees on that.
So no other mods done. I mean, amp-wise, it's a stock AC10.
Transformers are original.
And so, you know, guys have asked me about, it's an AC10. They played AC10 combos.
Yeah.
Don't sound anything like this guy. Why
They
is that?
don't. They don't. Remember when we played one with that Explorer on
And
the
a
road
rumble
show?
seat, yeah.
Yeah. We just actually got off the phone with a guy in LA. His name's Don Butler. He has a website called The Tone Man, and he's like a LA very experienced amp guy. And we were lucky enough to get an email from him when we called him. We asked him that question. He said one of the things he said is the AC10 combo is a 2-channel amplifier. But the other thing is mainly, I think, is that this thing is gained up. It has 4 preamp tubes for a single channel amp. Interestingly enough, there doesn't seem to be very many of these made. What did Don say?
He said a couple hundred probably.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more, but...
This one is a 1965, the best we can find out. And according to Don, kind of late in that production, maybe one of the last ones made. Mm-hmm. Gray panel on it. In 65, amplifiers were going louder, not quieter, so this being a 15-watt head was probably not as popular as maybe 50 watts or, you know, things like that were going on. But wow, what a great sounding amplifier it is. And I'm sure that absolutely all of them sound this great if you could find any.
I think we might have another one of them there over there.
You mean we would actually have more than one of these?
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
Do you have it with you?
Hang on. See if I can get this thing up here.
Pat's putting down his pipe. Whoa! Well, what do we have here, Pat?
This is a Vox AC10.
Super Reverb Twin?
Super Reverb Twin. It's about a 1965,
What is the difference in serial numbers between these two amps? Like about 20?
something like that. Yeah. They, I just had to get one because with all the amps that have come through and that we've had over the years and that we still have, it's probably the cream of the crop. Old Fender amps sound great. Old Gibson amps sound wonderful. These amps just seem to make everything sound good, even me. So I want to thank the guys at Rock and Roll Vintage in Chicago who helped me out with this amp. And Heath, you have my eternal thanks.
Which means a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that they can be friends with you for life, like us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it worked out well for
That's right.
for you.
That's right.
So this is pretty cool. This is really cool.
Virtually the same amp. There are a couple of little tiny differences, but nothing really to speak about.
Yeah, they look almost identical inside too.
Yeah,
This has EL84s in it.
right.
Yeah, instead of the 7189s. Other than that, it looks pretty stock. So we're thinking that now we have twice as many of them to compare.
Yeah.
But are we thinking, because we're Doug and Pat, that that's really enough to really compare them?
You know, it's like comparing apples to oranges or apples to apples, but throw a banana in there somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I'm thinking we need one more. I don't even know if this can be seen on camera anymore.
it's
This
almost
is
obscene.
probably a 1964 copper panel AC10 Super Reverb twin that belongs to our friend Dale. And this amplifier is slightly different than these amplifiers. We kind of measured them. One, the cabinet's a little bigger, just a little.
Yeah.
According to Don, the cabinets were made by different manufacturers, so that would have something to do with that. An earlier version, although this amplifier is in super shape. It has the original back on it. I have the original back for mine.
Grill cloth.
Red copper front, JMI. Unreal. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in one after another and see if these amplifiers actually do sound similar to that one.
You've heard this one.
Yeah, heard this one a little
You've
bit.
heard this one.
And we're going to run it through the same speakers that we always do, which are the mid-60s Alnico G12 Celestions in a Vox cabinet. And let's hear what they do. It's unbelievable,
Three of
isn't
them.
it?
Three
It's
of them.
unbelievable.
In this little old room, there's three of these guys.
Jeez. We love them. Let's see what they sound like.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I think from where we're sitting, these amplifiers sound very similar to each other.
You know, all three of them sound really good.
Yeah, we
To
listen
me.
to the back, so we play them here, and then we listen to them back on the recording. And they all have the same character to them. There are some slight differences, but here's an interesting thing. When we took them all apart to check them out, meaning that get your own coffee cup.
There you go.
We're like unsoldering anything because we don't know anything about that. But we've looked at the tubes in them. Here's the interesting thing. According to Don Butler of Tone Man, and also the Vox showroom, that this amplifier is supposed to have 3 12AUs in the preamp section and one 12AX7 for preamp tubes. The only amplifier that we played that actually had that was the copper faced
Right.
one, the 64. And it actually had that complement of tubes. The other one we played, which is Pat's amplifier, it had 2 12AX7s and 2 12AU7s. The 12AX7, as Don was telling us, has a amplification field of, let's say if it's 100, which it is, a 12AU is 40. So something's getting gained up there. I don't know what. It does something. This amp, which is mine, check this out. It has 2 12AX7s, a 12AT7, and a 12AU7. So we're switching the tubes out. There's somebody switching the tubes out, and it doesn't seem to hurt it. It almost seems like you just put in anything that you want. Now, I know the tech guys are going to write in, so you're going to blow something up. This amplifier's been on stages for 30 years now,
At least.
and in recording studios, and so it has been around, and it's still here. Original transformers, etc. This one also has 7189s, as we said earlier. So that's an interesting thing, don't you think?
Yep.
We're trying to figure this out, aren't we?
Yep.
We really are. The only thing we know is that they sound the way that they sound, and they sound great, even though they have different tubes in them. Go figure. Don't you think another characteristic would be, obviously, is the speaker?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, the speakers that we're using, we like older speakers. We like Alnico speakers. We like greenbacks. We like those speakers. Because we've compared them with newer speakers, we think they sound sweeter. Some of them, like I think you bought some P12Qs.
Mm-hmm.
I think I bought some too that were basically like brand new. And we put those in on some of our Gibson amps so we could take out the ones with the bells on them. They sound great.
Yeah.
Like literally like they're not even, anything's done to them. And Dale, the guy that owns the copper amp, he has a couple silver Celestion Alnicos, like what we're using in the cabinet here. They look like they're pristine, brand new. The codes that are on the cones say that they are mid-60s or so. They look like they're brand new, and compared to the ones that we just heard, those are very, very not broken in. They're very much more punchy, but they still sound great, just great. So why don't we take this single 12 cabinet, and we're going to pop in a number of speakers in a row and just play briefly on each one of them and say what it is, so we can kind of hear the tone characteristics to see if we can find something else that might make this amplifier or these amplifiers not sound amazing.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just as long as we have it here and we're talking about it. So we're going to try a couple reissue speakers. We're going to try a couple old speakers, do a variety of things, and hear what they sound like. Let's do it.
All right.
Interesting stuff.
Good stuff.
Really, really cool. So I hope you guys got into that. We should touch bases a little bit on some of the miscellaneous people that are sending us stuff, etc. John from Throwback has sent us a variety of strings that they are having made. We've mentioned those earlier, and we are checking these out. I have a couple sets on a couple different guitars, so we're trying to get a feel for what they are. Some of these are the pure nickel round core, pure nickel hex core, stuff like that. And we will be reporting back, so thanks John, Throwback, for that. Also, in the Heritage 150, which we are using today for the test guitar, we have the Lux or Luke's Bumblebee cap wiring harness that John sent us. These are VIP humbucking pickups in the guitar today. Great sounding pickups. very
They're
PA.
out of Seattle, aren't they?
They are that.
Northwest.
They are that, Celestion, and did a great job there. The cryo engineered from scientist Celestion. Yeah.
Seem to work.
Yeah. We're recording the amplifier today with a couple microphones. One was Shure SM57. And then we were using, of course, the Cascade Fathead ribbon microphone, which they so graciously supply that we really dig the way that that microphone sounds.
They make a whole variety of them too. They make a long ribbon microphone too.
Yeah.
It's
They
really
do,
good
which
for
maybe
that.
we'll end up with one of those someday, and we'll pop that on a cabinet. It really gives us a real pure sound, we think, when we're listening to it back here, of what it sounds like when we're in the room, which is the most important thing. Everything is pretty close mic'd. It's pretty revealing when stuff is close mic'd.
Yeah, it is.
It is. You can hear the difference in the speakers, and you hear all that stuff like that. Who else we got, Pat? How about strings from...
5-star guitar.
Who else?
Yeah.
These guys
Yeah,
are
those
coming
guys-
through.
They have, and it's again thanks to Jeremy and Joff and Jeep.
Those are the real names?
Those
So
are
we've
the
had
real
that
names.
discussion.
Yeah,
We've
yeah,
had that.
those are the real
We've had
guys. Yeah. So,
Cool.
appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys. Thanks a lot. We have a bunch of new shows that we're working on doing here real soon.
man, there's going to be some great shows. Some of the pickups that we have now from Wiz pickups that people have talked about, sent us emails
You asked,
about.
we deliver.
And,
Kind of like LeBron James.
That's, yeah, go LeBron.
Overdrive box thing we have coming up. Boost boxes. Just some exciting stuff.
Cream tone pickups.
And also, you can go to our own website. Here it is on the thing that runs underneath there. Our web guy runs that for our own product, which is, I guess it works everywhere. You can wear it to weddings. You can wear it to divorces.
Mm-hmm.
You can wear it around your own house.
There you
It's
go.
amazing. It's all good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. That's all for today, guys. Thanks a lot. I'm Doug.
And I'm Pat.
See you next time.
Bye.